In this video, we're going to configure visibility within Microsoft Azure. And again, all of this is going to be done through orchestration provided through the Multicloud Defense SaaS controller. So join me as we configure this visibility right now. What we're going to do is we're going to, again, within CDO, or what's now known as Cisco Cloud Control, Security Cloud Control, we are going to head over to the Multicloud Defense portal. There are ways you can do this from within Security Cloud Control itself, but I like to show everything from the same kind of common vantage point that we've been using in all the previous videos. So I'm going to open up the Multicloud Defense SaaS controller. And again, much like we did with the AWS visibility setup, I'm going to go into the setup wizard. This is the only place to actively configure the visibility portion of this. I'm going to click enable visibility, and then I'm going to go ahead and select the Azure account that we onboarded in a previous video. Now, a little bit different than AWS, Azure does flow logging at what they call the NSG level. So we're going to be configuring NSG flow logging, but there are a couple requisite steps in order for us to be able to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out the region. I think we used East 2. And let's really quickly make sure I cannot remember. Yeah, East US. I believe East US is, so this was our virtual network. Let's just make sure it's in East US. Yeah, East US. So you do have to have Network Watcher actively enabled in that region. And then it says, please create a storage account by executing the command below within your Azure Cloud Shell. And what this does is it sets up the storage account for us. Again, it kind of automates the creation if you don't already have one set up that we can use down here. The one thing I'll mention when you run this is it asks you to provide a storage account name here. Azure is very specific about like underscores and stuff, so just make sure that from a character standpoint you fill something in here that will work. I believe if we type something in here, and I may be wrong, okay, I thought it maybe would update this automatically, but it does not look like it does. So what we'll do is we'll copy this out. Let's go over here. Actually look and see if we have a storage account. I have a Terraform state. I'm gonna use something different though. So let's go ahead and open up the Cloud Shell. This again is going to be all bash. We do not want it to be in the PowerShell shell. We want it to be in the bash shell, which it is. So let's go ahead and paste that in. I will head back and give it a proper storage account name. Let's back through this. Let's say, I think we put it within quotation marks. We'll say JSON YouTube demo storage account. And let's hit enter, see what it does. We do want it in the pay as you go. So we'll say yes. Is this the subscription you want to onboard? And if there's any like errors within the naming or naming convention, or if there's anything duplicated, it will let you know. So as long as this completes successfully, we should be good to go. It will make sure that Network Watcher is enabled. It will create an event grid subscription. So again, all this is just kind of ways that we help our customers out. We try to keep you from having to do stuff manually if you choose not to. So once this completes, we should see another, I'm going to kind of lower this just a little bit. And we do see a new storage account. So let's copy this out. Can look back through everything that it did here. I would expect to see storage account show up in here. Oh, I have the subscription set. Let's select all. There we go. So it did create the storage account. Looks like I had another one in here as well for Cloud Shell. Could have used. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and paste that in here. And notice no NSG showed up. So let's create an NSG. I don't have any workloads out there right now, but let's just go ahead and pretend that I have an NSG I want to set up. Put it in the pay-as-you-go. We'll put it in this MCD. And we'll just call this JSON NSG. No tags. We're going to fly kind of loose here, and we'll create that. This should happen fairly quick. And once this is created, which it is now, we'll go to the resource. And we should, if we look at the NSG Flow logs, there's nothing in here right now. So let's go back to Multicloud Defense. We'll hit the little refresh arrow here. We see that JSON YouTube NSG show up. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, meaning what we want to do is enable NSG flow logging on anything connected to that network security group. The one difference from AWS that you'll notice here is we do not have DNS query logging with regards to Azure. That's not because of Multicloud Defense or anything Cisco did. That's because right now there's no mechanism in place within Microsoft Azure to do DNS query logging. You'll see that if a CSP has that capability, we typically leverage it. So with AWS, we leverage it. Within Google Cloud, we're going to leverage it. But within Microsoft Azure, it's unfortunately not available to us. So what I want to do is go ahead and click Next here. And this should, again, success. So we have victory. And if we go back to Microsoft Azure, and let's just refresh the screen, we should see this very quickly configured with NSG flow logging. So that kind of happened as we were trying to refresh there. So again, just taking kind of a look at what this flow log entails. It's within the subscription that we had, pay as you go. It's going to this JSON YouTube demo storage account that we just created with that bash shell script. And again, it's just going to be your typical NSG flow logging capability. So as we attach instances or resources to this network security group, as traffic is passed either ingress or egress from those instances, we will be able to have that centralized logging coming in from Azure into the Multicloud Defense controller. Again, we'll do all the typical inventory enrichment that you saw us do with AWS. But as it sits right now, I do not have any instances producing traffic within Azure itself. So again, I think I went through it in pretty great detail in the AWS video. But when you want to see these logs, you simply go to under the Investigate ribbon, DNS or VPC. You're going to be able to see the individual logs as they're being brought into Multicloud Defense. If we wanted to back this out, again, there's no mechanism within Multicloud Defense itself to back those configurations from a flow logging perspective out of the cloud service provider. So what we would do, again, very similar to what we did in AWS, if I wanted to clean up what we had done within those previous steps, I would simply come in here, I would select the NSG flow logs within that respective NSG. It's a little bit kind of wonky. There's a couple different ways you can do it within here. If I remember correctly, we could go to this little 3 dots on this side and we could disable or we could delete it, or you can click directly on the hyperlink that is the name of this NSG flow log. And typically you have the ability within here to delete it. It doesn't look like you do. So I guess you do actually have to go into those 3 dots in the far right hand side and delete if you want to delete these NSG flow logs. So let's go ahead and do that. Save ourselves some cache. We'll say delete. And again, it's gonna do that. The one caveat here, right, is now you have to go into all these different NSGs and delete these kind of manually. That's the one step until we actually are providing that automation within our controller itself. You do have to go into these individual NSGs and clean these up. As always, if you found this video useful, keep a keen eye on this channel, as we will be releasing more and more content around the deployment and uses of multi-cloud defense and how you can use it to protect your cloud infrastructure. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.